Hi, this is Alex Mok, and this is my junior phase final project. First, we're going to start with the models for the database. This is the campus models. These are the student models. These are the associations with them. And these are the routes that we wrote for them. This is the one for students. This is the one for campuses. So the campus subreducer, we have a separate component for them right here. These are the campus reducers. This is the first one to get all the campuses. There's a sort in there because when I update, it throws it to the bottom of the list instead of keeping its position. And this is the student subreducer. And moving on to the component. This is the component to display the list of all campuses. We render the form directly in them, and there's error checking in the and this is the component to display the list of all students. This also has a form to add new students. Okay. So this is the all campus view when the link is /campuses at the top. And this is the view for all students with the URL /students at the top. And these are links in the nav bar up here. You can go to students, you can go to campuses. Okay, moving on to tier 2. This is the route to serve a single student. We also eager load the campuses. We do the same for campuses to also have the students so that the reducer will make sure to populate both ends. This is the single campus view. This one has a form in it too at the top, and on the bottom over here it populates the list of students. And we also have error and loading built in, and at the very bottom here, if there are no students, it will display that. Okay, let me show that. So these are the campuses. So if we click here, it will load the students. And then if we go back, this is a blank campus and it says there are no students here. And at the top, you can see that the ID changes for the URL. Okay, now moving on to the single students. This is the single student component, also with the form. It displays their picture and it includes a link to the campuses. And we have the error on the bottom. Okay. So this is the students view. If we click on it, it has the picture, their email, their GPA, and this is their campus. Let's click on this. Okay, and we have the link here, so if you click here, it will take us to the campus that they're from, and we can do the other way. Yeah. And that's it for tier 2. On to tier 3. So this is the route to add a new campus. Over here, this is the post route for campuses. This is the post route for students. And we have our form, which renders at the top of the all view. So this is add new campuses. And if we submit this form, we will add a new campus to the list. So we are going to add test campus 1, test address 1, description 1, and we submit it. and it populates on the bottom without a refresh. And then, okay, so this is the code that we use. So we have the form split up. This is the create. This is to create a new campus, and the actual boxes themselves, we have a separate component for it to populate the boxes. So this is the actual form with all the boxes, and we have error messages built in, and as well as warnings in case we need a required field to make sure that the data that we submit is valid. Okay, and we reuse the same form for update later on. Now this is the add student form. So we have up here, if the warning message is for required fields, it disables the submit if all the required fields are not submitted. And right here, this uses a different form. So this uses the student form, but it works the same way. So it has warning messages if the field is required, but it's not filled out. And then we also have email, and which has the email tag, which requires @ and a dot. And then we have GPA here. It goes from 0 to 4, and it accepts the 0.1 decimal. Okay, so this is the view on the front end. Go to students. This is the new form. Over here, so our last student is test. So we're going to add test student. Email is email@gmail.com. We'll give them a 3.8 GPA. Hit enter, and it populates at the bottom over here. And that's it for tier 3. So moving on to tier 4. This is the route to remove campuses. Right here, this is the delete, and this is the delete route for our students. On the front end, if we go to campuses, there's an X, and if we click the X, it is deleted. And if we refresh, that campus is no longer there. The same with students. We click the students. This is the student we added before. If we remove, student's not there, and we refresh, student is still not there. So the code for that we have in the forms, in the all students forms, we have a button here for delete, which calls the thunk, which we have in the store, which I guess I haven't been showing. So these are the delete thunks. These are the add thunks. These are the get by ID. This is to populate the students within the individual campus. This is all campus. This is the all students. And that's for tier 4. Okay, so now for the bonus tier 1. Most of the functionality is blocked out if you're missing required fields. So the submit button is grayed out in campuses because you can't really submit an invalid field, but for students it's still possible to submit invalid emails. And in that case, first, last, if the email, okay, so if we type in email, we try to submit, if it's missing an @ that's the built-in HTML, but then it still requires the dot. But if you don't have enough after the dot, it will fail the server validation. And when that happens, we get that error to check. Okay, next one. Now when we go to a page that doesn't exist, cafeteria is the example they use, it'll display this new page, no match. We get all that from our routes over here up in our root. over here, which displays no match. If a user attempts to view a student on our campus that doesn't exist, for example, we go to campuses/1000, we get this campus does not exist. If we go to student, we go to students, go to 1000, we also get this student does not exist. We put in a ternary so that if the data is not ready, it should display loading by default. So single campus. So it's in here, but it's also part of the for the display. And then this is the seed file that we have. It seeds about 120 students over the 5 campuses. Okay, so moving on to the next bonus tier. So if we go to students, we have the edit form within the single view. So right here at the top is the edit. Actually, let me try. Okay, so then if we wanted to change this campus name, full stack Chicago. So address and then description. If we submit it, it will change the description right here. And these are the routes for the updates for campus and for students. And we have that on a separate form to handle it. It generates the same form view, but the buttons are different and the requirements for fields aren't there, because if you choose to change a field to something else, you're free to. This is the campus update, so it does the same thing. It also pulls the form from before that we used for the adding, and I guess we'll do that. Or I mean, we'll do the student one now. So if we pull a student, we change our name to Harry Potter. Change it to, and they decide to keep their email address. And GPA drops to 3.5. Yeah, that updates. And that covers everything.